Guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Generica and this is the best of two worlds where we talk about all things positivity. I've always said it doesn't matter how flat it is, it has two sides. And this is the other side of me, a Kenyan living in abroad or living in Sweden because this is where I live. For those who don't know me, and karibuni sana, the new subscribers. If you're watching me and you're meeting me for the very first time, my name is Generica and I live in Sweden. I am a Kenyan and have been living in this country for the last 20 years. So I have learned a thing or two about myself, about living in this country, and that's what I am about to talk about. Today I'm going to be talking about those things that I have taken upon myself to learn along the way as living in this country to make my life a bit easier and to take the advantage of the fact that I live in this beautiful country. Now, I came into Sweden at the age of 30, so you can almost now calculate and guess my age. And there are many things that even at my age of 30 years, I had not done in Kenya. I had not experienced when I was living there because I was a young mother and I was uh, I was busy. I was busy taking care of my baby and working. I was a career woman, so I'd never got it had not gotten to me that it was important to do some of these things when I was in Kenya. Now, this is different for different people, so don't take me wrong, but that was for me. And I, I had not reached to that stage. I'm a late bloomer. I discover things a bit slower. I get things a bit slower, but once I get them and I'm able to do them, then I go all in. So most of the things I'm going to mention here today, I had maybe started when I was in Kenya, but I was not good at it. But there are also very, very many other things that I have learned uh, since I've come here, both to make it easier for myself and also for they were fun, maybe they were easier to do. And also now with time I have matured and I have grown up and things like that. So let's dive into it. The things that I have learned since I came to this country, to Sweden, for the last 20 years, my first and biggest achievement that I did when I got into this country was to learn the language. Yes, that was very important for me. I've talked about this in my previous videos that it was important for me because I came with a child. This child had to go to school. I came and joined my husband, and my husband had friends, and it was important for me when I go to school to see my daughter's school, when the teachers talk to me, I'll be able to understand what they're saying, that they did not necessarily need to speak to me in English, because with English you can survive in this country, because people in this country are very fluent, are very good in English. But it was important for me and for them to feel comfortable to express themselves and to tell me things in a language that they are comfortable in and a language that I will understand. So that was the first thing that I did. I had to go to school to learn the language, not only because of being able to speak, but also being able to write, because I was looking at a a situation or a future where I'll need to go and work, where I will need to integrate myself into the community. So, how am I going to integrate myself into a community that is speaking a different language and I'm not understanding? So, that is why the Swedish language was very, very important for me. And anyway, why would you not go to school and learn the language when the classes are provided for you and it's for free? I understand there are many people who come and they don't have the advantage of being able to go and learn the language because of different scenarios, because of different situations. Because maybe you came through work and they are okay for you speaking English, and if you go to the shops, you're able to run your life in English, that's fine. Another scenario ni kama umekuja huku, umekuja na bwana yako or whoever who has brought you here, and you have to go to work immediately. Because then when we came 20 years down the line, it was easier to get jobs. Now it's much harder to get the English speaking jobs. But those scenarios were there. Those scenarios were there. I worked for a company at the very beginning, a cleaning company, Hemfried, and these I've talked about even before, that I did not need to learn the language. I did not need to learn the language. So I was okay going to work, because even anyway, I wasn't talking to anybody. Cleaning the house, you have the keys to the house, you go in, you do your cleaning, there's nobody in the house, then you lock and go. So really, if that was my path, and that I was satisfied with the way things were then I did not maybe necessarily need to learn the language. Yeah, and so I went to school and I learned the language. Uh, how most people ask me how long did it take to learn the language? It's difficult to say, but I was in school for it's called the Swedish School for invandrare, for the incomers, for 1.5 years. And because there are different levels, of course. And before now, I went to do the career that I'm doing today. So, but even as I went to school, I was going to school and I was still working part time. So that it's easier to practice now to talk when you're talking to somebody. So that I've done, and I can proudly say that today I am fluent in the language. I can write and I can read in the Swedish language. So that is one of the things that I've learned, and I'm very, 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 very proud of. The other thing that was also very important for me was driving, getting a driving license. Okay, now I used to drive in Kenya. I had a driving license in Kenya. But to be honest, if I can be really, really, really honest, and this is no critique to anybody or to where I come from, I'm proud of where I come from, but the driving lessons from home, really, I did not go for driving for a month before I had my driving license. And after that, had I ever driven a car? No. I drove once my father's pickup And you know those manual pickups that you drive, and it, I mean, could hardly be stable on the road. So yes, I had a driving license, but I was not a driver. I cannot say I'll call myself a driver when I came. And in this country, you cannot drive without a driving license. I'll repeat, you cannot drive in this country without a driving license. Now, are there people who drive without driving license? Of course they are. But the risks of you driving without a valid driving license in this country, the stakes are so high, it's not worth taking it, because the cars here are registered to their owners. So if you have it's not like in Kenya where, okay, the cars are registered to the owner, but you can, it's not easy to track the owner of that car. Now here, if you have a car, you own a car, it is registered to you. So I went to school, and the driving school then, I mean, I think it is to even now, you can do it in your mother language. So I did my driving in Sweden in English. And I did a manual. You can choose to do a driving license for a manual car, or you can choose to do a driving license for an automated car. But if you do automated car, then you cannot drive a manual car. But if you do a manual car, then you can drive both. So I did a manual driving license in English. How long did that take me? It took me, I would say, about a year, because where you go to do the theory is one place, and it's regulated by the government. It's one, it's very difficult to rig. So I did it the first time, I failed, because there is now the maximum point you're supposed to get. I did the second time, I failed. I got it the third time. And then now you do the practical, driving on the road. And that was a challenge. Why was it a challenge? Because in this country, they drive on the right side of the road. So now you can imagine, I've come from Kenya where we drive from the left, and now come here, we are driving from the right. I had a big issue with driving inside the roundabout. Oh my God. Oh my God. I had such an issue. I would get into the roundabout and I would panic. Why was I panicking? And the system here, because the rule of the road is, once you enter the roundabout, everybody else should stop. So the people inside the roundabout have the way of the right of way. So why I was panicking, I don't know, but I had a big issue. I had a big issue of, when you're told turn right, I'll turn left, and vice versa. It was so confusing. It's almost comical how confusing it was. I had to literally write on my hand right and left to be able to know which is right and which is left. Can anybody relate? Can anybody relate with that one of, you have an issue with right and left, and you have issues in the roundabout? So I did my driving license, and what motivated me most to take the driving license is, one, not only the independence, because once you have the driving license, you don't have to keep on being driven to different places by my husband. He used to pick that. At that time, I used to work at an old home, and in an old home, you work in shifts. So sometimes my shifts would end at 9 o'clock, and he would come and pick me. And I remember this very, very clearly. I remember it like yesterday. He said, one time he came to pick me, and he said, he's so tired of picking me, and he can't wait the day I will get my driving license. And he promised this. He told me, these were his words. He said, if you get your driving license, I'll get you a car. And that was such a challenge for me. And I said to myself, you said when I get my driving license, you'll get me a car? Yes. If you don't get me a car, I'll take this one of yours and you're the one who will be going by matatu, by bus. And true to his word, I did my struggled with my driving practicals, and I never gave up until I got my driving license, and he bought me a car. So a car, I would not say is an essential because in this country the communication is very good, but I'll say it's an independent of some sort. Because like now during that time when I was working nights and I was working in the evening, then he did not need to come and pick me. My children, when they need to be taken to different training places, they did. I could also now be part of the picking and the dropping from school into the training fields. So I'm very, very proud of that. And driving license here are held dearly because it's very, very easy to lose your driving license. It's very easy to get tickets from the police if you're not following the rules and regulations. So yes, and your driving license is your identity card. I use my driving license as my identity card. So that is it's a document worth holding with all I've got. The other thing that I got to learn when I moved here, believe it or not, was to ride a bike. I'll attach a video here if you don't believe me that I can ride a bike. And how did I come into learning how to ride a bike? The riding of the bike, I taught myself. I taught myself how to ride the bike with my niece's bike. It was there. I came to visit my sister. That is how I landed into this country the first time. And her bike was there. She was in school. I was there. I really wasn't doing much. So I decided, you know what? Let me try this thing out. I had never ridden a bike in Kenya in all my 30 years of age. Why? I don't know. I cannot answer it. I cannot answer why. Maybe it's not a priority. Maybe it is not an, an easy thing to find a woman riding bikes in Kenya. It's now becoming more and more common, but during my time it wasn't. And then I had never seen a lady's bike before. I'll attach to show you how my bike looked like. Men's bicycles have this middle bar here, but the women bicycles are curved like this. So it's easy to climb on the bike and come off. I'd never seen I didn't even know that there were different types of bicycles for if you're a man or a woman. Did my daughter have a bike growing up? Yes, she had a bike. But for me, and it never had occurred to me that I could learn how to bike. But I taught myself how to ride a bike. Oh, that was not an easy exercise. The many times I fell, I had wounds on my knees. The last falling, I fell and I went down the hill. I was going down a hill and I found myself in a bush. But did I give up? No, I did not give up because today I can ride a bike. Today I ride a bike to school. I mean to work, sorry. I take my bicycle to work. Not every single morning, but often I do. I've also attached the video here when I'm riding to work. You can watch it. So I'm very, very proud about that. I'm very, very, very proud that now I can comfortably ride a bike anywhere. I can ride a bike, any kind of bike. I can ride it all. I can ride it all. The other thing that I have learned within the years of moving into this country is doing many things at the same time. What do I mean by that? In this country, we don't have house girls. We don't have house helps. We don't have house managers. We don't have people working in the compound. You can get if you want, but it's not common because in this country, the taxes are so high and everybody pays taxes. So if I get a house help, that house help must be able to pay taxes also. And I tell you, you can run, but you can't hide in this country. Everybody pays taxes. So I now coming into this country, you're a wife, you're a mother, you have children. These children have activities. When they were younger, you have to take them to school. You wake up in the morning, you prepare them, you eat breakfast, you prepare yourself because you also have to go, you're going to work. I will, I've never been a stay-at-home mother. So we go out, I take them to school, I take myself to work. Then we have to come back. We took turns to pick them from school. We come home, make dinner. From dinner, take them to the activities. My girls have been doing figure skating most of their life. The youngest one just stopped doing figure skating not so long ago. And that the training is very demanding, even for us as parents, because you have to be there to help sometimes in the cafeteria. You have to help in giving the kids rides when they are competition during the weekend. So the first the driving license came in handy. The driving license came in handy because then I was able to help with driving the kids to different places when they are going for their practices and even when they are going for their competition during the weekend. And then now, that's what I mean having many things at the same time. And then I have myself to think about. I needed to be whole as a woman and as a mother to be able to pour into my family. So it was also important for me to go and train in the gym, to go and meet my friends when I can. So you have to learn to have many things around you going around. And the jobs here, this is a country of where many people work in shifts. And I've been in the working with people. I've worked in the old homes and now I'm working in a dental clinic where you're dealing with people. So you have to learn to do many things at the same time. You know, you're yourself, you have your husband to take care of, you have your children to take care of, you have the household to take care of. Thank God, everybody in the household helped. My husband can stand in the kitchen and make dinner. As a matter of fact, he makes most of the foods, and he's comfortable. He's comfortable doing the washing. He's comfortable doing the cleaning because we have to share the responsibility because we have no house help. We have no people to do these things for us. And because if you don't take care of yourself, then you will not be able to take care of your family. I know I mean, as a mother, those who are parents can relate. It's not an easy job, and you make a lot of mistakes along the way. And now my children are young adults. So my older daughter has moved out, and my younger one is soon waiting to go to the university. And it has not been an easy journey. But has it been a worthwhile journey? Yes, it has been absolute. The best thing I have done in my life is being a mother and a wife. An imperfect one, yes, but this is the real world. Nobody prepares you in or about how hard motherhood and being a wife, how hard that is. Nobody prepares you because otherwise, if there was somebody, if there was a menu, then we'd all be perfect parents. But I was by far, and I still are by far not the perfect wife or mother. but I did the best I could with what I had. And I'm very, very proud of that. I can never, ever, ever take anything back through all the teenage fights and the issues in the marriage, and all these are part of life, and they are what has made us to where we are today, 20 years down the line. So it's never perfect. But am I perfect? Is he perfect? No. But because of our imperfections, it makes it perfect in our marriage. Is it ever 100? No. Sometimes I have 30 and he has to give the 70. Sometimes I have the 90 and he has the 10. So it's never 100, but you have to come with the 100% intention in the marriagehood and in the parenthood to make the 100%. You cannot give up along the way, because then if you give up, then what? And it has been a joy. It has been a joy. It has been what a ride it has been. Now we are half empty nesters and we are loving it. We are loving it. We are looking forward to the next stage of our lives, God willing. And that is why I go to the next stage of taking care of myself. It's very, very important that I pour into myself. I have done that, the motherhood. I have brought up my children. Now they are young adults. Now it's my time. It's my time to pour into myself by eating healthy, eating well and eating healthy. What does that mean? Eating all meals, but in moderation. Eating my greens, eating my vegetables, drinking my water, exercising, staying healthy, building muscles, because as we grow older, we lose muscles and you become weaker. And in a country like this where the sun is very few hours during the day, it's very easy you find yourself getting into a situation where you're weak, your body is weak, you're weak mentally because of the darkness. So you have to take care of yourself. And that the first step of doing that is eating well. Eating well and drinking your water and sleeping well. You have to sleep well. And those who have listened to my premenopause, menopause video, I talked about the symptoms of premenopause and menopause, and one of them is lack of sleep and the heat flashes. I found it, now that I'm in the premenopause, very helpful to exercise and to stay active and to drink my water and to eat healthy, because then I don't have the issues of lack of sleep and heat flashes. They are there, but they are not as elaborate. And part of the strength, that part of taking care of myself is also being strong enough mentally, bodily, and even in my soul. What does that mean? That I have to talk to myself nicely. I have to give myself the credit. I have to give myself the grace that I deserve to be a better person. And this I have learned with 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 age, of course, but it becomes more clear as your children grow and they are less dependent on you. Then you realize, oh, what do I have? I have me left. I have to pour into me. I have to pour into my husband. We have to be intentional. We have to be intentional about taking care of our relationship. And that's a subject on itself. But we are intentional. We are very intentional about taking care of our relationship. It has Marriage is never easy, and it has not been easy along the way. But since we have made it this far, you have to consciously make the decision and keep reminding yourself, is this the person you want to live with for the rest of your life? And if your answer is yes, then you have to be intentional about taking care of that relationship. That's a part of being strong, because it's easy to look back and look at, oh, what has happened, and look back and see, oh, is it worth it? Or it's, and walk away and destroy something that is good. That also takes strength. It takes strength to look and see that I'm not perfect myself. I have not been perfect. What part or have I played in that relationship, whether good or bad? And make a decision. And that is not easy. It takes strength to do that. And so many other things, get into a career, growing into the career, growing into the workspace. When I moved into this country, because I was clear to myself that I never wanted to be a housewife. That was very clear. It was also clear that I needed to do something for myself. I needed to do something that will give me money for myself. I needed to work to contribute into the family. So I started from the ground. Talk about starting from the ground. Talk about starting from zero. I will do a video about not being too late to do anything that you desire or you wish to do, and also starting from zero, because you could start this thing and it doesn't work, and it's okay to start from zero again. In Kenya, I used to work in the tourism industry, and when I moved here, I found out that it was not easy, because this is a more modern country. People book their travels and their holidays through the internet world. And the typical tourist companies that they are, you have to be speaking the language to be able to understand, to be able to help anybody. So I found it, because I had to learn the language. It was going to take me a year, 2 years to be able to be fluent and to be able to write and be able to communicate into the Swedish language. So I said to myself, you know what? What else can I do that I will still be able to learn the language, and it will still put me out there into the working industry, into the working market, and be able to get a coin for myself to be able to contribute into my family. And I started as low as, well, I call it low. It's not low because it was a paying job, and those people working in the cleaning companies are still paying taxes. I started by cleaning houses for people. I worked for a cleaning company as I went to school, as I studied the language. Yes, I cleaned people's houses. Coming from a country where I had house managers, I had house workers who were working for me, to coming here now being the one cleaning people's houses. And I did that with grace and with confidence and with pride, because it gave me the economic independence, which was very, very important for me. It's very, very, very important to be economically independent. For me, anyway. And then from there, I graduated to working into now when I started to speak a little bit, I started to work in schools, in their kitchen. And there I did not work for long. And then I got a job in the old home. And there you did not have a choice, but you had to speak the language. Those old people, most of them cannot be able to speak English. And that was good for me because that is where really I learned most of my Swedish. That is where I really learned how to be confident when you're speaking. And I worked there for long. I worked during the day and then I transitioned and started working night. But I also, because now most of the people that I knew, most of my sister's friends and the people now I got to know were in that industry. And after a while, I thought to myself, there must be more than just working in the old home. What else can I do that is closer to my heart and that I will enjoy doing? It's not that I did not enjoy working in the old home. I really enjoyed working in the old home because my parents died young. I was not able to take care of my own parents. So I felt like if I can take care of somebody else's mother or grandmother, that was satisfying to my soul. That was satisfying to my soul. So I did it with pride. And thank God my parents got to see what we do and visit us before they passed on. So that I'm happy about that actually. So from there I decided to go because now the other thing also that I had not experienced was that when I was in Kenya, in my 30 years of age, I had never been to a dental clinic. I had never gone to go and check my teeth. How many, with a raise of hand, in Kenya have been to a dental clinic? Growing up, we were never taken to any dentist. So coming here, getting to learn that you go to the dentist every other year, and then when I went, I had a lot of calculus on my teeth, and because in our family we have the losing of teeth because of not taking care of our gums. My front teeth were shaking because of the calculus. When the gum goes down and there is no that support of the teeth, your tooth can start to shake and you can lose your teeth. I haven't lost my teeth, but if I had taken care of my teeth in the earlier years, I will not be where I am today. But because of that, I got the interest of taking care of teeth. I was curious. I got an aha moment. Have you ever done something that gives you an aha moment? That was it for me. Going to my dentist and getting to learn how to take care of my teeth was an aha moment for me. My daughter came when she became 7 when we moved into Sweden. She had never been to a dental clinic either. Children here start to go to dental clinics at 3 years of age. Can you believe that? So when we got here, her first dental appointment, she had a lot of, when the teeth are, the milk teeth have not fallen and the permanent teeth are growing. So her dental was all over the place and a lot of cavities. So that experience for me gave me an aha moment and awakened it awakened a curiosity in me, wanting to know more about the dental world and the dental healthcare and the dental, my mouth wellness. There are very many people who are not aware of the mouth wellness. It's a whole it's another world altogether. Now that I'm in it, I know. So I got curious and I decided I want to be a dental nurse. So I mean, the only way to get to know about it, maybe I could have researched, but I just told my husband that I want to go and do dental nursing, dental assistant. And he said, okay. And I'll never forget this. I'll never forget this. And he asked me, do you know that you're going to go and learn in Swedish? The learning is going to be in Swedish. And I said, yes, I know. I was not very fluent then in Swedish, but I was still going. I had already done my SFE, the Swedish for incomers, and I had started to work. So I was confident. I was confident when it comes to talking, but maybe not into writing. But I was confident because this was something that had awakened. It had awakened that curiosity in me. I really, really wanted to dig deeper into it. And I started. I looked for a school and I started. It was far from home, but I remember I had a driving license, so I could take myself to school. I could bring myself back, and it was full time. 2 years full time going to school. And I managed. I managed. I'm very proud of myself for that. Because now, knowing what I know today, anybody around me, and this everybody can attest to it, I'm very, very keen on people being mindful about their mouth or their dental wellness. I will not be with you and not mention something that I know, something that I've seen, something that I think is good for you. So I'm very, very proud of that. And that is also part of what I have learned when I have moved into this country. I have learned to be strong when it comes to standing for myself. I mean, you're coming into a country where you look different, your color skin is different. When you speak, they can tell you're different. And as much as racism is not allowed and is not out there spoken and done outright, it is there. And I've learned to stand for myself. I have learned to say no. I have learned to say this I can take and this I cannot take. That is not something that I would say I could do confidently in my 30s back home in Kenya. And also, maybe that you say it has come with age. Yes, I agree, it has come with age, but also being a parent, and being a parent of a daughter who is dark skinned like me. It was important for me to stand up for myself and to be strong in myself, for to be able to teach her that she can stand for herself, that she has a right just like anybody else. And that I can say that I'm very, very proud of, because I know I am not a mean person. I know I'm not malicious. I know, but I also know that I know what I want, and I know what I can take and what I cannot take. And it's not hard for me to say no. And that being able to stand for myself and being able to say no and being able to take this job and to say no to this job, and to even in workplaces to to learn, to have gone to school and learned to be a dental assistant. I know my work and I know what I'm capable of doing, and I know I will do the extra mile because I always say, being the fact that I am dark skinned, I will have to work 4 times more than my white colleagues, and that's just how it is. That is just how it is. And that is what I have taught my girls to do. That going to school, yes, you're going to the same schools, you have the same opportunities, you have, but remember, you look different. Your skin color is different. Nobody should ever make you feel different because you're speaking the same language, you have the same opportunities, the same blood that is running in through your body. So you have to stand for yourself. And that has built a confidence in my children that I am sure and I'm proud that they can survive anywhere in this world. We all make mistakes, yes, but you learn from them. You learn from the mistakes. I have also learned that rules are rules. And I have always said, when you go to Rome, you do as the Romans do. So I cannot move from Kenya and come to Sweden to do what I want, to break rules. I cannot understand that. I want when a Swedish person goes to Kenya, they go and follow the Kenyan rules. There are some things that you take for granted and you think you can cave your way out? Of course. But rules are rules. And in this country, there are very many unwritten rules, but rules are rules and they are there and you are expected to know them. So I have learned that those rules that are really are rules for the government that governed and are put there for to make things easier, to make systems work, to make the day-to-day life easier for everybody. Yes, I follow them. I'll give you an example. Paying taxes, for example. You cannot evade to pay taxes. And even if you evade to pay taxes, I'll tell you, my friend, I will tell you to 101%, you will pay. When it comes to declaration at the end of the year, you will pay the taxes back. And you can run, but you cannot hide. What else can I say? The all human rights, that you are allowed to go in the forest freely, that you can go and pick berries and pick mushrooms in the forest, that you are allowed to camp, that this area you're supposed to go and this area you're not supposed to go. That is nothing that anybody teaches you. Nobody sits you down, and even going to the Swedish school for invandrare, for incomers, they don't teach you these things. They will tell you the rules are there. It's up to you to learn those rules. Going to driving school. I'm not going to driving school because I could not drive. I went to driving school so that I can learn the rules and the regulations of the road. And that is what is part of what is killing us in Kenya, because anybody can drive. Anybody can drive. You can just pick a car and just drive. Look at the accidents that are happening in Kenya every single day. Unnecessary road accidents because we don't have rules and regulation when it comes to driving license. The accidents in this country are next to zero. The deaths that occur on the roads because of accidents are zero. Why? Because you are required to go to a driving school and learn how to drive before you can even get yourself behind a wheel and start to drive. You can drive. I'm telling you, I can give you my car and you will drive without a driving license. But if you're caught, and you will not find the police standing on the road or the traffic light waiting for you, no. But if something happens, the owner of that car, that will be me, plus you will have to pay the price. So these are some of the things. There are many, 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 many others. I can sit here and talk about many, many, many other things. But those are the things I felt like so far, 20 years down the line, have grounded me and that I have learned, that I'm proud of, that I have learned since I came into this country. Because these are things that will take me to any country, wherever I go. If I go to Kenya, my driving is different from my friends' driving in Kenya because I have learned the rule of the road. How I will behave on the street, on the road is very different because I've learned. I've learned how to ride a bike. Maybe I would never have ever learned how to ride a bike if I stayed in Kenya. So these are some, just but a few of the things that I have learned for myself, for me, that the things that are required by the state, that I have chosen that these ones I will learn for me to make my life and my stay easier if I learn these things. There are very, very many others. And thank you for listening. Put in the comment section if you're living in a foreign country, what are those things that you have learned along the way that have made your life easier for you in that country? Put in the comment section what are those things that have been difficult for you to learn, those things that have been difficult for you to adjust to in the country you're living in. Let's communicate. Thank you for the communication. I really appreciate the fact that you, my subscribers, have one subscribed. You give my videos likes and you share the videos, but most of all, that you engage with me. We have a dialogue, we have a communication. I'm very, very grateful for that because it's a young channel and we are road to 200 subscribers, and I'm hopeful. Growing slowly doesn't mean that we are not growing. We are growing, and I'm grateful for that growth. But there's much more to be done. I am all in to give you more content, to give you more inspiring videos, and to bring you along in my journey. Along in my journey of living in Sweden, living in this country as a mother, as a wife, as a grandmother now, and generally as a good citizen of this country. And bringing you along also into my other world when I go to Kenya, what the things that I'm doing back there. And I appreciate that you take the time to join along and come with me and watch my videos. So very, very grateful. I don't take it for granted. And please, please share the videos. Tell your friends to tell their friends. Tell your family members. And most of all, subscribe. Subscription is free. So please, please take a second and just double check if you have subscribed. Because maybe sometimes it can slip your mind and say, oh, I will subscribe tomorrow. It's very easy. It's just pressing the button. So for this video and many more to come, stay tuned. But most of all, live your best life, put your best foot forward, and let's live better lives for ourselves. From this video here and now until the next one, I say bye and God bless.